You can find me sleeping on the floor at Terminal B at the Atlanta airport any time. There are always going to be some people who are uncomfortable getting any football information from a woman. And honestly, I know that's supposed to bother me, but it doesn't, really. I have so much respect for women that are full-time moms in the house. It's such a difficult job. Charles Barkley is always a good interview because he's honest. My dad was a high school and college coach, and in my house my dad muted sideline reporters because he wasn't interested in what they had to say. We were wearing jeans and t-shirts, and we just decided to drive to the courthouse and get married. We went to Arby's and had lunch. That's always been like one of my favorite places, so we decided to celebrate our holy matrimony with some roast beef. As long as you have a firm foundation elsewhere and don't depend on other people to make you feel good or bad, then I think Twitter can be a great thing. I thought I wanted to be on ESPN, but I didn't know what the heck it was. I knew it was sports television, but we didn't have it. We didn't really watch TV growing up. What I'd always liked about Art Briles before is he seemed like a straight shooter. In all my time with him, I respected that. Like any woman in the public eye, I get a considerable number of sexist/misogynistic tweets from people. I still get a rush of adrenaline after a big game, but the older I get, the more I laugh at the days when I was nervous to interview an athlete or coach. We have such a weird celebrity culture in our country where we elevate talented, successful, or beautiful people to a level of perceived greater value. We are not cool at all. We are probably the most lame couple ever. I've been asked a lot about filling Chris Berman's role. To be honest, I don't even allow myself to see it that way. He is a total legend and created so much of what ESPN is known for, and specifically our NFL coverage. That's an impossible task. Look, the term high-profile relationship for us is laughable because we are probably the biggest scrubs when it comes to the way we live our lives. I know many women in this industry have to deal with men who are belittling, unsupportive, or even inappropriate. Growing up in a sports household where my dad was a coach, I never had to fake my knowledge. How can you accept an apology from someone if they don't say what they did? Whenever someone says something to me like, "Oh, another blonde at ESPN," I would like to crunch the numbers. First, I think we have more brunettes than blondes. And second, there are only 3 normal hair colors. You're either a redhead, brunette, or blonde. It's really not that complicated. The sexist comments are simply the low-hanging fruit for any critic of a woman on TV. I don't know what to do with my dislike for this woman, so let me just tell her to get in the kitchen. Well, I love the kitchen, that's where all the food is. I got into sports broadcasting because I loved sports, not because I loved TV. I am grateful for FaceTime. Yes, I did move to New York when I was 18 to do sports broadcasting. I didn't know how I was going to do it, so I got a job at ESPN Zone, thinking I would meet people in the business. People give me a hard time for it, but they don't realize that they shot sports reporter there and that folks from ESPN and ABC were in there all the time. Within the industry, and maybe people don't want to hear this, but everyone has a conflict of interest. It's a relationship-based industry. There are people we like and don't like. Look, no one grew up watching NFL football with me. I'm well aware of that. I don't know how I lucked out so much, because I have a baby who likes to fly. She is awesome on the plane. One of the things I have learned is some of the most judgmental people have been other moms, and there have also been a ton of moms who have been very supportive and encouraging. There is such a stigma on both sides of being a working mother, and you can fall into the trap of what you think everyone else thinks you should be doing instead of what your instincts and standards say you should do. Knowing and being secure in yourself keeps you from being held hostage by the approval of others. Shame alone makes people hide, not change. I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of the Sunday NFL Countdown family. There is no such thing as replacing Chris Berman, but the chance to build on his incredible legacy while simultaneously taking new risks to serve NFL fans is the opportunity of a lifetime. I got some big breaks early on, and the attitude around it was always, "You're just lucky to be here." No one came out and said that, but that was the clear message. And I felt that way. I think there is pressure when it comes to the perceived notion that if you are a woman in sports, you're there for your looks. You cannot try to look nice on TV and also know what you're talking about. Scout has been on 95 flights before she was 1 year old. I remember in the beginning I felt guilty. I was always the sideline reporter or something similar to that, which is essentially, but this isn't always true, the woman's job. I'm abundantly aware of the undeserved goodness of God I've experienced early in life, especially when it comes to the health of my children and loved ones. I'm of the opinion that fans are often best served by broadcasters who have the best relationships with the people they are talking about. TV and social media has such a huge impact for what we think is normal and what is okay. And that's for good and bad a lot of the time. It's so important for young girls to see that it's not weird for girls to understand what happens in the red zone. It's not rocket science. For a lot of the girls that I grew up around, that's common knowledge. Sideline reporting was a great way to be a part of the game and develop relationships, but it's no big secret that it's relatively limiting. I really enjoy hosting, not necessarily because it provides more airtime, but because it allows me to be a part of more substantive discussions. The best thing about college football, to me, you can tell when you're on campus. It's kind of cool to see the different aspects of American culture on different college communities. I had friends from Somalia and Eritrea and all these different counties, and I was getting to learn about people that I would have never known anything about. It's scary to criticize Beyoncé in this country. People take their Beyoncé very seriously. At the end of the day, I thought to myself, what do I want to be doing? And yes, I want to be a part of this industry and in sports broadcasting. But more than anything else, I want to be a great mom, the best mom I can be. I didn't have cable growing up. I never saw ESPN or Game Day. The funny thing that still cracks me up is when you get a grown man coming up to you shaking, asking for a picture. I'm like, dude, you know I'm a scrub, right? I grew up in a family where we had dessert for breakfast. I spent so much time on the field while my dad had practices growing up that I actually developed a pretty good arm playing catch with my sister. I definitely did not desire to be in a relationship that people would talk about and ask about outside of my family. If somebody would have told me as a kid that when I was 30, I'd get to cover the Phoenix Suns for my local station, I would have thought I had made it. I have nothing to complain about, but it was new for me to figure out how to balance being the best at my job, and also as a woman, to be a good friend, girlfriend, daughter, and all of the things away from my job that are important to me.